Hey guys, SomberChaos here, and welcome to another episode of SomberChaosReviews. So, if you saw my last video, or even the title of this video, you'll already know that I will be reviewing Castle-Mania today. And I don't got much more to say than that, so let's just get into the review. Castle-Mania was the third episode of Season 4, and it aired on November 30th, 2013 to an audience of around 461,000 people. It was the first episode to air written by Josh Haber, a new writer for Season 4. And like most all other episodes, this episode was met with overwhelmingly positive reception from the Brony community, and the same rings true for the Brony analysts and reviewers who reviewed this episode. But enough about all that, you're here to hear my thoughts. So, let's not waste any more time and get into this review. So, this episode starts with Twilight, oddly enough, not in Canterlot, but in her home in Ponyville, looking for a book that makes mention of the strange box found at the end of the last episode.
Pretty important. I hope Princess Celestia has some ideas. If the library in Canterlot doesn't have anything, I don't know where else to look. My dearest Twilight, while it would be perfectly lovely to have you in Canterlot once more,
No, really? I mean, it's not like she's a princess now or anything like that. So basically the plot is Celestia suggests that Twilight go to the Castle of the Two Sisters library to find a book on the box, which actually may work. Oh yeah, and there's a theme or something, but we don't talk about such things here. Meanwhile, Applejack and Rainbow Dash are oh screw it, so we cut to Rarity and Fluttershy on their way to the castle.
Don't you think it's a little late in the day to be walking through the forest? It is star spider season after all. Though I'm sure you have a very good reason.
Simply the most important reason I've ever had in my entire life.
Oh, well then I'm happy to help. What is it?
I've heard rumors that the Castle of the Two Sisters is filled with the most gorgeous of ancient tapestries in all of pony history. It pains me to think of those magnificent creations rotting away in those old ruins, totally unappreciated.
I see.
I require your help in borrowing one or two to bring back to the boutique where I can restore them. Maybe I'll even use the patterns as the inspiration for a new line.
That does sound very important.
Yes, well, maybe not the most important thing in my entire life, but retro ancient classical will be all the rage next season, so it's nothing to sneeze at.
You know, Rarity really has no reason to be here. Beyond saying that she may want to use the parents as inspiration for a new line, none of the reasons she says she's here really hold water. As a matter of fact, I'll debunk all of them.
It pains me to think of those magnificent creations rotting away in those old ruins, totally unappreciated.
Well, if they're unappreciated, there's a reason why. Because no one cares, and neither should you. What, did the Equestrian Smithsonian offer you a big juicy check or something?
I require your help in borrowing one or two to bring back to the boutique where I can restore them.
So, here's Rarity's logic. I need to get some tapestries, so I may need some help. Well, let's not get my brave and loyal friend who can fly at the speed of sound and has proven herself to be very strong, or my even stronger friend who's an apple farmer. No, let's get the weakest, most timid and shy friend I have to help me. Sounds like it to me.
But retro ancient classical will be all the rage next season, so it's nothing to sneeze at.
Retro Ancient Classical. Okay, first off, that shit ain't even real. I checked. And secondly, if it were a real thing, could you even consider these tapestries Retro Ancient Classical? That's 4 different reasons Rarity is here. If you're writing an episode and trying to find validation for a character being in a location, don't keep piling on ultimately invalid reasons for them being there in a vain attempt to make the plot of your episode make sense.
oh, these aren't for you, Spike. We're gonna be studying late into the night, and we're gonna need all the light we can get.
Oh, great. Well, here
Okay, how can Spike and Twilight not hear Rainbow Dash and Applejack? Spike just walked out of frame, and here's Applejack and Rainbow Dash. In fact, if they were this close, how did he not see them? Whatever, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. I mean, this is a cartoon after all.
Find find anything, Spike?
Nope, nothing yet.
Angel, what are you doing here? Whoa. The Journal of the Two Sisters. Maybe this is the book Princess Celestia was talking about.
So here's what happened. The plot has just been completely forgotten. Twilight will be reading this book for the rest of the episode. The box or any books on it are never mentioned after this scene. This is it, and this is largely why this is my least favorite episode of My Little Pony. As of making this review, 92 episodes of My Little Pony have aired, and having seen all of them, I'm pathetic, I know, this is the only one that has, to my knowledge, abandoned its plot this early in the story for the sake of comic relief. Comic relief that, in my personal opinion, isn't all that funny. Also, Angel appeared, and instead of questioning why Angel is, to Twilight's knowledge, so far away from Fluttershy, Twilight decides not to question the matter any further, and just read Celestia and Luna's diary, like a little 10-year-old kid who just stole his sister's diary. I think Twilight would be a little bit more mature than this, and have enough respect for Princess Celestia, goddess of Equestria, to leave that diary alone. Also, Twilight says this.
Maybe this is the book Princess Celestia was talking about.
What the hell, Twilight? This is a diary, a journal, whatever you call it. Celestia nor Luna have any knowledge about the box. So why would a diary, a book written by them, recounted events that happened in their daily lives, have any relation to the box or the Tree of Harmony for that matter? I'm sure if Celestia knew anything she thought could help you, she would have told you. If she thought you could find the answer in her journal, she most likely would have suggested that you look for her journal. There is no defense for this. Twilight should have known better. Meanwhile, on the much less interesting B story with Rarity and Fluttershy, Rarity is...
No castle in its right mind could possibly object to my restoring such exquisite works of art.
Oh, they're lovely, Rarity, but...
Okay, why is Rarity talking like the castle is alive? Is this supposed to be funny? Are we supposed to laugh at this? Is the Rare trying to use personification as a storytelling device? I'm really not sure how to take this. I guess I'm just worried about Rarity, although I really shouldn't be. I'm sure it's just an isolated incident.
Now you look here, Castle. You are very old and very scary, but your wall art is in an atrocious state. And there is nothing you can do to keep me from my sacred task of restoration.
What have they done to you, Rarity? The more I watch this episode, the more I'm starting to worry about Rarity having a serious mental problem. This seems unhealthy. Rarity, please, get some help. I'm worried about you. Look, I know this good psychologist. He's a wolf. He's helped many a pony. Seek him out. Please. I think this may be a good time to explain why I haven't mentioned or touched on Rainbow Dash and Applejack's Most Daring Pony competition. And there are a couple good reasons for that. One, I don't care, and it has little to no bearing on the story. And two, it's a very poor reason to bring Rainbow Dash and Applejack to the castle. Why is it so poor? Well, maybe because we had this story 3 years ago. Now, some guy is gonna tell me, but SomberChaos, you're wrong, because that was a strongest pony competition, and this is a most daring pony competition. And to this person, I say, you're right. But I also say, look at the seasons. It's been shown that the ponies have matured as the seasons have went on, especially Applejack and Rainbow Dash. And I imagine that by now, there would be past pay disputes like who's the strongest or who's the most daring, because they're more mature than this now. So this, in my opinion, really shouldn't be happening. So at long last, the ponies meet up with each other. This is the scene that made me snap the first time I watched this episode, mainly because it's completely unneeded. First off, they had no reason to be walking backwards in the first place. Also, when they all bumped into each other, oh yeah, let's not use our common sense and see who we bumped into. Let's all freak out for no reason. How is it during this scene that none of the ponies see each other when they are all in plain sight of one another? Them being in a panic and it being dark is not a viable excuse. I can't get over how nonsensical this scene is. Also, it's not the constant screaming of all four ponies that gets Twilight's attention. No, it's Fluttershy screaming Angel's name. For this scene to work, all of the characters, including Twilight, would have to be deaf, blind, completely oblivious to everything around them, and not use one iota of common sense, logic, or basic functions of acting reasonably. And that is why I see this as one of the worst scenes in the history of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. Oh yeah, the character at the organ is Pinky. Yeah, real big shock there. So with all the ponies met up, we finally come to the end of the episode.
Soon as I returned it to its former glory.
Now don't go running off again. Oh, I can't believe I was so frightened. Guess I let my imagination get the best of me.
I think we all did.
I always let my imagination run away from me. Then it comes back with cake.
Well, it's good to know that whenever your imagination is getting away from you, a good friend can help you rein it in. And even though I didn't find anything out about the mysterious chest...
Oh, huh. I wonder why.
You certainly did that, Twilight.
Yeah! Why weren't you scared? Reading Celestia's diary made it hard to be afraid, because I knew what it was like when she and Luna lived here. Knowing something about the past made it easier to deal with my problems in the present.
What problems? You weren't scared once. When you saw the library, you freaked out with joy. Spike was the one with problems. I love how Twilight is the one that says this, when she is the only one in the episode who didn't have any problems.
I just thought of a great idea. Why don't we keep a journal, just like the Royal Pony Sisters?
All of us?
Sure! That way we can learn from each other. And maybe someday other ponies will read it and learn something too.
The journal idea was the only good thing to come out of this episode. So, with that being the end of Castle-Mania, my final thoughts are, screw this episode. I can't find it in me to respect an episode that forgets to tell its own A story halfway through the second act. Rarity and Fluttershy's B story and Applejack and Rainbow Dash's C story were not enough to carry this episode in an entertaining direction for me. And as much as I hate to use the infamous written out of character card, I do believe that Twilight and Applejack were written out of character in this episode. I think Twilight would respect Celestia and Luna's privacy and would have been more concerned with why Angel was so far away from Fluttershy's cottage. And as I stated before, I feel Applejack at this point in time is a bit too mature for these Who's the Superior Pony competitions. So I basically feel that both of them were written immaturely. As for the writer of this episode, Mr. Josh Haber, after seeing this episode, I instantly labeled him a shit writer and lost most respect for him. But thankfully, that's not really the case anymore. Cause while I hated Castle-Mania, I kind of liked Simple Ways and I liked Leap of Faith, the other episodes he wrote this season. So I know the guy has some decent episodes in him. Now, if you like this episode, I don't blame you, as episodes like this appeal to kids and some adults, just for being random and fun with no rhyme or reason, and that's fine. But as for me, I like a compelling story. I just can't be thrown nonsense. I have to have a reason to keep watching. One of the things My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is praised for is the compelling stories, but I don't see that with this episode. I just see nonsense, and an episode that makes me question its existence outside of the journal idea. All in all, I just didn't like Castle-Mania, and I give this episode a 3.2 out of 10. It was just a victim of exceptionally poor storytelling and execution. So I guess that's it for this review. Pony of Shadows, come on. So stupid. Anyway, this is SomberChaos, flying. Who turned out the lights? Hello? What was that? Hello? Who's there? Show yourself! The Pony of Shadows. What? Oh no. Wait, what are you doing? No! Get away from me! No! What are you thinking? No! Hey guys, Somber Guy here. As always, thank you for watching the video. Now for my shameless plug. If you want to see the last 2 reviews I did, they're up somewhere on this screen. I decided to stop linking all of my reviews at once because now that I have 5, it's getting pretty hard to do that. But yeah, that's the end of my Castle-Mania review. A lot of stuff was taken out of this review and a lot was put in. It took me a little bit longer than usual because I've been pretty busy, you know, trying to find a job and all that kind of stuff. But I had fun with this review, and I hope you guys liked watching it. I really liked the bit I did at the end. That was a lot of fun to do. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say. And as for my next review, well, let's just say a storm is a brewing.